Right, hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. And we've got another sit down do today. Again, we're going to find ourselves under, well, where I am, about 2.5 to 3 inches of snow. The weather's not the best. It's quite bright out there, but very cold at the moment, and snowing. Right, so what we're going to talk about today? Well, what we're going to talk about today is probably the most controversial subject that I ever broach, or it used to be. It's not anymore, but it used to be very controversial about 8-10 years ago, which was when I first started promoting and saying that I believe that this was the best way to finish. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through my strategy of how I believe finishing not should be done, because it's entirely up to yourself, but especially if you're a beginner or an intermediate player. Don't get me wrong, these work perfectly well for the pros. You've seen it on telly now, haven't you? It started coming in about 5 years ago, something like that, and I've been teaching this for the best part of 10. If you don't believe me, it's quite easy. All you've got to do is go back in the archives, and you can see, I think on the second video that I did, there was a couple of comments there from Ronnie Ibricks as well. And same thing to me, Eric Bristow, he said the same thing to me. It's alright for exhibitions, but it'll never catch on. Nobody will ever do double finishes. We'll start off with one of my sayings. The only way you can win a leg, the only way you can win a match, the only way you can win a tournament, the only way you can win any money or become rich. What is the only way that you can do that? And it's not by hitting 180s, it's by hitting this outside ring here. Let's take these darts out of here, put them down there. The only way you will ever win a match, a 5 or 1, is by hitting this outside ring. So we know Dynamite Dave, it's all about logic, right? So logic dictates that you've got to make this outside ring here, these doubles, your best friend. The best part on the board that you can hit. How many times have we been in the pub, and I do it because I go to the pub quite regular to watch the old boys play darts. They'll throw 4, 5, 6, 10 visits at this and expect to hit this in 3 darts or 4. Never happens. Obviously it takes them another 10 visits to hit the double 4 or whatever, and they usually end up round on double 1, don't they? But you can get where I'm coming from, right? So if you spend all your time practicing chucking at the treble 20 or the treble 19, as you can see mine's had a damn good hammering. If you spend all your time practicing throwing at one area, so the 19s, and that you're scoring, then your finishing's going to be garbage, innit? Think about it. If you don't practice structurally what you want to achieve, you won't achieve it. And if you do achieve it, you're going to achieve it to a poor level. Simple as that. And you know me, I ain't going to sugarcoat nothing for you. Now if you're not very good and you're throwing at a 30 average, 35 average maybe, if you're lucky, if you carry on doing what you're doing now, you'll never get any better. You might get slightly better by concentrating and trying to make tiny little changes yourself, but the best way to make the massive changes by doing very little, to be honest with you. If you adopt the Dynamite Dave way, it's child's play. It really is. It's so simple, it's unreal, and it'll just turn your darting life around. Anyway. Right, so as I've just been saying, if you concentrate on the trebles, you're not going to be very good on the doubles. And the other thing that I'll say to you, and this it's never a truer word spoken, and I've seen this so many times, people have said to me, I wouldn't even have a go for that. Well, I'll tell you something now, if you never have a go for it, you're never going to hit it, are you? That's the same sort of logic as, I never buy a lottery ticket. You ain't going to win it then, are you? If you don't buy a lottery ticket, you ain't winning, are you? Simple as that. So if you don't have a go at these double finishes, you'll never be able to do them. But believe me, when you can do them, and you can do them on every number, or using every number, then believe me, you're going to win a hell of a lot of games and a hell of a lot of matches. Probably a few tournaments and maybe some serious money. So where does the double finish come in from? Well, I'll tell you where it comes in from. 138. 138 you can start doing your double finishes from, because obviously it's treble 20, double 19, double top. And you can do it in any order you want, obviously, as long as you finish on a double. You can go tops, treble 20, 19s, but personally, obviously, you go for the treble 20 first. If you miss it, then what I do is I set myself up. So then what I'll do is, if I'm going for 138, I'll probably go, if I miss that and go into the single, I'll go for 2 tops. So that means I'm probably gonna either end up with 60, 80 or 100. If I end up with 100, then obviously it's 2 19s. And you're gonna say, whoa, well, why would you go for 19s? That's madness, that. No, because they're all the same size. And with the Dynamite Dave way, they're all exactly the same to it. Dynamite Dave doesn't have a favourite double at all. I don't care whether it's double 7, whether it's double 4, whether it's double 15, double 9, doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, because they're all the same size. So they're all just as easy to hit, they're just as big. And if you look, how much bigger is that than that? And this is where we come to the next level of it. So let's say you want 72, right? Dead simple this one, isn't it? So you go for 2 times double 18. So you go for 2 double 18s. You don't hit 2 double 18s because you're not that fantastic, right? So what you do is you've drifted on the inside. Always, 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 with your first dart, aim for this inside wire. Simple reason why, because if you miss it, you don't go for treble 10 or over here or up here or anywhere like this, or a big single 20. No, you stay where you are. What you do is you go 18s, 18, double 18, and you can use these two as a marker and a platform to deflect from, either deflect or straight into the bed. So think about it. This is not only logical in the way that I'm actually putting the darts into the board, it's logical for up here, because you think about it, 80% of this game, that's 80% of this game, is between your ears. It's between there. It's what goes on in here. So the more simple you can make playing darts and finishing and everything, the more simple you can make it, the more times you're going to hit the target that you want to hit, because your mind isn't distracted by other things. You're not thinking to yourself, oh crimes, I've missed and gone into 4 by coming down here. I've missed the treble 18 and I've gone into a single 4. Now if you've got a dead fast calculating mind, you might be able to calculate very quickly where you want to go next. So it might be treble 10, might be coming down here for treble 10. But why think at all? Why not just stay exactly where you are? Stay where you are, so go where you know and know where you're going. Now what I like to do, and I do this on purpose, because it kicks the legs out from underneath whoever you're playing, and it really does. It's right in the solar plexus. This is my way, 72. Right, let's hold this dartboard so we can get it up. That's my way, and it's exactly the same. If I throw for double 16, I throw for the inside wire, and if I miss and hit a big fat 16, I just put one right next to it, and I'm still going exactly where I intended to go in the first place. So it takes all the thinking out of it. All the brain power has gone, you don't need it. Right, so that works, as I say, all the way down from 138. Bit ambitious obviously for people who are pub level and that sort of level, or maybe just a little bit above pub level. Might be a little bit ambitious that, but from 70 downwards, from 78 downwards, this is the way that I always go. Anybody in the pub will tell you, anybody in a competition will tell you, if I want 66, where do I go? And the amount of times I've hit this and just knocked the competition sideways, you wouldn't believe. That is how I do 66. And it's the same logic. Think about it. I miss on the inside. Great big fat one there to aim at. So you put them next to each other and you still go into the same place. And that is what it's all about, is going to the same place. Know where you're going and go where you know. Right, so say you want 97. So this is where it steps up to the next level. And you're using this as a platform for all your different finishes, right? So this is the way I think about it, right? So say I want 97, right? So 97, because you can't do it double, can you? So if you think about it, the logical way is 57 for double top. Yeah, so 57 for double top, easy peasy, innit? So what do you do, right? If you pull it and your 19 goes in like that, what would you do? You'd probably go off and search for a you'd probably think of a treble somewhere to try and make it right. Don't do that. Just come down here. Again, if you've made those doubles your best friend, you've got as much chance of hitting that as you have anything else. If your opponent, to be honest with you, it don't matter to me. Even if my opponent's breathing down my neck, if I miss with that one, I will then put another one in the big fat 19. And why have I done that? Because it leaves me exactly where I was going. So my brain power is not confused and it's not taken to different places. It makes, and I think this is probably what most dart players struggle with, is the maths. And I've got a mild form of number dysphoria, so I find it very, very difficult to think about 313s to make such and such a thing. It just won't compute in my head. But what will compute in my head is using the big ones. So in other words, what I do and what I recommend everybody does is when your opponent's throwing, so you're down to a finish, your opponent's throwing, you should be stood behind him deciding what you're going to do. Not away with the fairies or looking out into the crowd or winking at your missus or anything like that. What you want to be doing at the back of the hockey is standing there thinking about what you're going to do next. So you're stood at the back of the hockey there, you think to yourself, right, I want, well, let's say 78. I want 78. So I know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go double 19, double top. So if I got, but I know if I miss and go single 19, I'm going single 19 tops. I'm not going off round the board, changing my mind here, there and everywhere. And because that is programmed into your head, and like I said to you, 80% of it, so it's very, very easy to confuse what you're doing. How many times have you seen professional dart players on the hockey? I call it sucking your thumb, right? But what I mean by that is they stood there thinking, right, what should I do next? That will never happen to you. If you finish the Dynamite Dave way, once you get into it and you get used to it and it gets programmed into your head, you never have to think about anything. You know exactly what you're going to do when you walk up to that hockey. You know exactly what your options are. Let's say you want double 16, right, and you hit the 7. Where's your next dart going to keep you going where you were going? Because that's what you want to do, is you want to go where you know and know where you go. So what would I do if I landed in there and I wanted 2 16s? So 32. What would you do? What I would do is I would go there. That's 16, isn't it? So that leaves me double 8. Which, if I went in the inside of there, that's where I'd be going anyway. So it's knowing where you're going and go where you know. Right, so that is the Dynamite Dave form of what they call on telly board management. But I think that this is a much simpler way of board management than what the professionals use at the moment. We've seen the Dynamite Dave double finishes. I started this off. Don't get me wrong. Somebody said to me, if you think you invented nobody invented double finishes. Nobody invented it. It was just there. It was there to be done. Eric did double finishes in exhibitions. Wayne Mardle did double finishes in exhibitions, and I think he still does. He does that where he blows the dart out of his mouth and all that sort of stuff. So in the old days, those sort of finishes were considered to be disrespectful to your opponent. Why, I don't know. Somebody just decided that, you know, like they do. Somebody decided in their own head, and because they spread that about, then everybody thought that it would be disrespectful if you did that. Nothing further from the truth. I tell you something, I'll be absolutely horrible and disrespectful and walk away with the money. Thanks very much. So if you're going into a competition and the prize is 500 quid, you wouldn't use this system in case you upset your opponent. You're not there as a spare body to walk backwards and forwards to the board. You go there with the intention of winning. What I'm interested in and what my passion is and what I love doing is teaching, and I get a massive kick out of it. So what I want to do is I want to give you for free my knowledge. So I'm giving you my knowledge for free, and then if you choose to and you want to come here for some coaching, then that's fine. All you need to do is contact me at, it'll be down here, dj.llewellyn123@outlook.com for any coaching or anything like that. I've got an eBay shop, so if you go on onto eBay and type in David Llewellyn 123, all in one thing, click on that, it'll come up with all the bits and bobs that I've got for sale. If you do decide to buy something off eBay, if you do decide to come and have some coaching, if you do decide to send me a tip, and you can do that via the super thanks at the bottom of the screen. So if you just go outside this box, across the bottom there, if you have a look, you'll see a heart with an S in it and a $sign. If you click on that, follow the links, you can leave me a couple of quid if you think that the videos are worth it. So, thanks very much for watching. Oh, and don't forget, like and subscribe. That's one of the main things. Like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell, and then every time I put a new video out, you'll get a notification of it. Otherwise, it could be weeks before you come back and see the latest of the videos. Right, so thanks very much for watching. I've really enjoyed making this. Don't forget, lads and lasses, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 toe to the hockey.